How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Facebook land. And today, I'm a ray of fucking sunshine. So, it's been a busy week, been a busy month. Here we are. It's almost December. It's been a little while since I've been on. Yeah, everybody needs to do the post-election decompression, see where they're at with life, see what's going on with a number of things in their neighborhood and their community. Catch up with everything that they sort of lost track of. So check up on family, see how they're doing. Awesome, by the way. Great things, doing great things. And so let's see what we can do here. I want to go ahead and get something started here. So we are going to do, no, that isn't the way that one will work. There we go. I'll deal with it some other time. Anyway, so I am no longer a candidate. Yes. So we can have a little bit freer discussion now about a number of issues that are coming up. Now, Idaho has got some great things coming up. Let's go ahead and cover those real quick. One is the Idaho Medical Marijuana Initiative for 2022. It has been filed. We're expecting it to be made available here before too much longer. Now, the big question is whether or not the state of Idaho is going to go ahead and approve. Now they are. They have no choice but to go ahead and approve the initiative as it's been submitted, as we recommend. The question is whether or not they will issue a cease and desist order along with the validation of the ballot initiative. Now, that was one of the things that we actually ran into trouble with a number of ballot initiatives last cycle, was when the Secretary of State did the lockdowns. Let's go ahead and bring that up here. I'm going to go ahead and let's create a banner. Ballot initiatives, yes. Okay, so the ballot initiatives. They did a cease and desist order so that we can no longer go out and collect signatures. And for a lot of the signatures, even though we got started late, they were within 6,000, within 10,000, of being able to turn in a completed package for final validation. We were close. We were close. And cease and desist order came down, and then, all the court cases, all that fun stuff that got in the way. So that's the big question is how much time are they going to give us before they issue a cease and desist order because of the current COVID situation? Okay, now, some of you have actually gone through and taken a look at some of my videos on the Libertarian Party. So let's go ahead and bring that up again here real quick. Because there is an important one. Now, it's interesting because some organizations here within the state of Idaho who claim to be libertarian don't actually agree with the Libertarian Party platform anywhere. So one of these that's of particular interest to me is, we will go down here and yeah. Okay, so Libertarian Party, Section 3.6, representative government. Okay, blah, 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 blah. We advocate initiative, referendum, recall, and repeal when used as popular checks on government. Okay, now there are certain organizations within the state of Idaho that have recently advocated against the initiative process. And the initiative process is a check on government. It is very much part of the Libertarian platform. and it is very libertarian. If there is anybody who tells you that they are libertarian and oppose the initiative process, they're full of shit. Tell them to generally fuck off because they're statists 100%. Yeah. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Yeah. So, keeping that in mind, we have the medical marijuana initiative. It has been submitted. We expect to be able to start collecting signatures on it this week. Yes. Would have been nice if we had been able to be downtown and collecting signatures on it on Small Business Saturday. But we weren't. Anyway, good things coming from that. So we'll be able to start doing some nice things on that front. Now, separate initiative, we have some friends of the Libertarian Party that are currently working on a ballot initiative. And this is another one of those good ones because this is very much a libertarian issue. That is repeal of the grocery tax. Okay. We've had people in our state legislature, state senate that have been trying to get the sales tax. Well, that's bullshit because as often as they say they want to repeal it, it's never happened. And when the people who have control of it tell you that they're going to repeal it and then don't, they're full of shit again. And you need to call them on that. No ifs, ands, or buts. You need to call them on that. Repeal of the grocery tax. It is actually going out as a ballot initiative sponsored by some friends of the Libertarian Party. We'll be out this year. We will start collecting signatures on it. Again, 45 days from submission. We don't know when the submission date will be. We still need to finalize some of the wording on that with certain people. But the goal is the Libertarian Party will be rabidly even, supporting the ballot initiative for the repeal of the sales tax. So we got some others that are out there. We're not sure exactly what they're going to be yet. Reclaim Idaho, while we support their ballot initiative procedure and process, there's a pretty good chance we won't actually support the initiative itself. They got some language buried in their tax code, in their education code that, yeah, it's not as straightforward as we had hoped. And there are some others. We got some organizations that are looking at supporting labor organizations, labor association, freedom of association, such as repealing of the legislation that they called right to work. Yes, we know it isn't because it violates freedom of association and it forces people to do work that they weren't paid for. Okay, that we're waiting to see what the final wording is going to be like. May or may not support that ballot initiative. Again, we support the right to initiative, period. 100%. We believe in that as a solid check to our government. That said, what's in those initiatives we may come out against, we may support. Again, depends on the language. But medical marijuana is definitely a plus. We're supporting that. Well, I am supporting that. I need to actually be careful. Our LP chair has been working on our package, working on our arrangements, what our program is going to be for the next 2 years as we build up. And we want to be consistent in the message that we give to you, in the message we give to Idaho, in the message we give to America. You know, as far as what the Idaho Libertarian Party's values are and what we consider to be important. You know, and I think part of that is having a pragmatic path forward so that we aren't burdening everybody with total freedom, from day one. A lot of people in Idaho really aren't comfortable with that right now, which is sort of sad, but that is the reality of the situation. We got good people. We got great leaders, amazing leaders. And we really want to see some things come through for America, for Idaho. That teaches us once again that we can think for ourselves without worrying about the repercussions of some government agency or organization that's going to tell us that we thought bad thoughts. So it's a lot of the fun stuff that we got coming up. You guys, this is an Ask Me Anything session, so please, step in, let me know what you're interested in, what sort of things you think are important. Maybe if there's an idea that you think is important that needs to happen in Idaho that our legislators won't actually appreciate or put forward in their time. There might be an organization, there might be an agency here in the state of Idaho that's working on a ballot initiative to fix that as a check to government. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, kids. My kids are doing awesome. How are yours? So some of the things we look at as we move forward, COVID. Folks, this is not a political issue. At the same time, I am not a supporter of mandates. I think they're stupid. I think they're classist. I also think that there's an awful lot of things that are going on with it that we've been deliberately misinformed about. That said, there are an awful lot of people with family who have succumbed to it recently. According to the numbers, we've reached 1 in 2,000 Idahoans have died from a result of COVID complications. We're continuing to see a spike that is overwhelming our hospitals. Now, that information seems to be a little bit at odds because some people say they have friends that work in, the healthcare industry that are not seeing that workload come through, and others that are saying they are absolutely swamped. So, take that information as you need to. Yep, schools stealing that money, stealing those resources. We need to work on that. A little competition, a little school choice. Go ahead and create options. Transparency in school pricing. Well, transparency in everything the United States government has touched recently. We definitely need to work on that. If you can think of a ballot initiative that you think would be important to see succeed in the state of Idaho, yeah. A lot of people coming out in with symptoms. Of course, the symptoms, you got all different levels of it right now. You got people who say they get the symptoms. You get people who say they've tested positive, who just never develop the level of symptoms that land them in the hospital. So they're somewhat, disparaging about the alerts that there are people dying from it. Yes, there are people dying from it. Just because you got it and weathered it just fine doesn't mean it won't kill somebody enough. So back to the mandates issue. I don't believe in it. Reason why is because you cannot create a mandate that is going to be successful. One of the big problems we have right now with the mask mandate is 99% of the people in America don't know how to use the mask properly. I don't know how to use the mask properly. Use a mask properly. So I default to the fact where, when I go into a place it's designated as a mask required facility, like my local grocery store, I find one of the disposable masks, put it on, wear it while I do shopping, take it off as soon as I leave. You know, that's a single use item. I'm only using it for about 15, 20 minutes. Done. Um, yeah. Long-term effects. We still don't even know what the long-term effects of COVID are for a lot of people. Some of them continue to have extenuating circumstances. COVID becomes a pre-existing condition for a lot of them because of what damage is done to the lungs, the organs, etc. Elizabeth, shared living situation who are not related, who are exposed to COVID-19, show proof of their test results. Yeah, that's another one that's an interesting situation. Um, Simply because that does create a burden. It creates financial burden, because of the time taken to go in, get the test samples, go in, and whether or not they have to pay for the test themselves or whether or not they have an insurance plan that pays for the testing. Um, I'm not sure how far that initiative would actually go in the state of Idaho, especially considering a lot of the resistance that we've seen with some of the other things like the mask mandates. Um, Speaking of which, we actually had a group down at Cecil B. Andrews yesterday. They were in the park. They'd actually been going around downtown handing out anti-mask literature, to businesses, basically telling businesses that they cannot discriminate against people who refuse to wear the mask. Um, Now, this was a particularly interesting situation because people were claiming to be associated with the People's Rights Movement. Um, People's Rights Movement weren't really fans of them using their name to go around downtown Boise harassing business owners who were just complying with, what they felt was in the best interest of their employees and their clients. It was an interesting discussion. Needless to say, dude, respect the property rights. If a property manager, if a property organizer requests that you wear a mask, please just wear the mask. It's their property. Um, if you don't like wearing a mask that much, find somewhere else to shop. It's not that hard. You may have to drive 20 miles to do it. Plenty of places within 20 miles of Boise that don't have a mask requirement. Most of downtown Boise is actually looking out for the health of their employees and their clients. And, you know, most of the people who are complaining about it had to drive 20 miles to Boise in order to walk into a store with a mask mandate so they could complain about it. Dude, seriously, if you gotta drive 20 miles to be an asshole, just stay home. Plenty of people in your hometown, plenty of stores in your hometown. Don't give a damn. Stop coming to Boise to be an asshole. Yeah. Eastern Idaho right now is having a real problem. Lots of people in the community coming down with it. Fort Hall, Pocatello, the reservations over there, problems. Right? People refusing to use a mask come into a clinic. Refused to wear a mask, but I think I got COVID. No shit, dude. No shit. Uh, you know, I got it. You don't want to buy a mask. You don't want to wear a mask. You walk into a clinic, put the disposable mask on. They're giving them away for free. Jesus. Yeah. Send them away. Send them away. Um, Usually it's not a problem getting a copy of the results. It's a question of, usually if you're in a cohabitation arrangement, if you're in the same household, if one person in the household comes down with it, if one person goes in and gets the test and tests positive, the entire household's supposed to go into quarantine. Just as a courtesy to the organizations that those people work for. Somebody wants to work, they want to go out and do their job, they need to pay attention to what's going on with that. They need to look out for their coworkers, in as much as the people that you cohabitate, live with, should be looking out for you. And because if you're exposed, whether or not you should be going to get tested, and you also know whether or not the developments of symptoms are of a particular risk to you, especially with comorbidity and pre-existing conditions. Legitimately, that's just a courtesy thing. I don't understand why some people have so much trouble with simple, polite courtesy. You're a guest in these places. If you don't like the rules the host want you to abide by, go be a guest somewhere else. Be polite to the people in your household. Be polite to the people you work with. We're all on this big blue marble together, and yeah. Anyway, the guys, it's not that tough. Be nice. Be polite. Cooperate. If you don't want to cooperate with them, go find someone else you can cooperate with. Anyway. So what else have you guys got today? Ballot initiatives. Got some good things going on with that. Now, this is a good time to start building party, folks. Building a social media presence. If you liked what you saw coming out of the Libertarian Party during the last election cycle, or if you didn't like it, honestly, there's an awful lot of people that were very critical of the way some of the things were done, for a number of different campaigns, which campaigns got support from the Libertarian Party, candidate committee, which campaigns didn't, how are we advertising, how are we getting our information out, things like that, building our networks, building our social media presence. It's one of the things, I'm on here doing is I'm helping building social media presence, especially in the state of Idaho. Yes, I have people watching me from all over America. Love you guys, by the way. You are all amazing people, no matter which state you live in. But as we start building awareness for the candidates here in the state of Idaho, as we start letting people be aware that, yes, there is a real Libertarian Party, there is a real organization in the state of Idaho that believes in the Libertarian Party platform. Yes, that is a key. This organization believes in the Libertarian Party platform. And that means the government shouldn't be telling you what to do. Nobody can decide what's best for you better than you can. Okay, yeah, some of us need a little help making that decision. I know I've had to have that help from time to time. Somebody come in and give, hey, Joe, just a couple pointers for you here. You need to do this a little bit different. I mean, that's all cool. It's a big difference than, Uncle Sam coming in and saying, hey, Joe, If you don't do it my way, I'm going to fuck you up the ass. Yeah. There's a big difference. And we really do need to respect that. There is that difference. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. You know, we all need that help every so often. What we don't need is Big Uncle Sam coming in and telling us, you know, that he's going to stick us in a prison cell for 20 years because we didn't do it the way he wanted us to do it. You know, we need to do a better job of making sure that Uncle Sam's put in check. So that's why we believe in a voluntary society, folks. But there is a libertarian organization that believes in the libertarian platform in the state of Idaho. Look it up, read about it. I posted it on my website, so I got it on YouTube. It's a nice, pretty playlist. You can listen to it, turn it on, do your hearing. Yep. No, you're good, Tamara. Yeah, copy of the results are easy. And absolutely, as soon as you go in, get the results, as soon as they send them to you. And there's a couple different ways I know you guys send in results. Sometimes it's telephonic, sometimes it's text, sometimes it's in an email. Sometimes they actually want you to come into the clinic. Yeah. Any of those ways, any of those times, yeah, you have the right to leave with the results of your clinical tests. Yeah, absolutely. We definitely don't like Uncle Sam telling us what to do. Yeah, so where are we at here? I'm at 30 minutes, folks. It's Sunday. I got all day. I want to sit around and talk a little bit more about different things. So, Idaho National Guard. Let's go ahead and talk about that for a little bit here. The Idaho National Guard. Yeah. St. Luke's uses my charts. I've used that. St. Luke's is awesome. The information is there. It's printed. It's validatable. You know, you can pull it up on your phone. You know, yeah, that's the thing. We got an awful lot of organizations that claim to be libertarian associated in the state of Idaho. That what they really are is they're Koch brother branding. They are pro-corporate shills. You know, continuing to give corporations power over government, which is not the libertarian platform. The libertarian platform is actually very much anti-corporate. It's against protectionisms that allow corporations to continue to monopolize market share. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why the Koch brothers actually gave up on the Libertarian Party as a carrier for their message, was because at one point they realized they were never going to get the platform to change into the pro-corporate whore organization that the Republican and Democrat parties actually are. You know, there are no bailouts in capitalism. There are no bailouts in the free market. You know, every one of those things that we've done over the last, 40 years now, allowing the monopolies to create and develop antitrust busting, you know, people going in with more money, you know, literally buying out because people can't afford to live and create while fighting the regulations that have been created for barriers to entry into certain industries and certain organizations. Right now we got some people in the state of Idaho that are working on creating an independent news network. Not always a huge fan of some of the stuff they promote because they do have a tendency to put an awful lot of their own personal spin on it, their own personal politics into what it is they report and the way they report it. But the idea of trying to start out from ground zero as a journalist in journalism and news, without getting literally lambasted by, the regulations associated with, qualification, you've created a situation where libel suits, if it goes against a minor news organization, that organization's done for. Big organizations have reached the point where if they print a retraction on the 7th page, that's good enough. Well, no, it's not. So yeah. Let's work on this, actually create a trying a slightly different setup here today, folks. Just trying to make things work out. One of those things been a little while. Working on getting my process set up. I know that's actually going to work much better. Give me 1 second. Yes. Okay. Lighting's better. A little better enhanced. Awesome. Yeah, work too. Gotta lose my shiner back. Oh. Yeah, so yes, we do have a libertarian party that follows the libertarian platform. Yes. So, folks, if you're curious about the Libertarian Party and the Libertarian platform, start by actually listening to it or reading it and understanding it. Reason why is because there are a number of caucuses that have been trying to change the Libertarian Party platform for a while now. Unsuccessfully, mind you, because, they just don't have the pull in order to make those changes. Some of those organizations are what we call paleo-libertarian. Yeah, paleo. And they haven't been able to get some of those things out of the Libertarian Party platform that they wanted to. Just can't. It's not going to happen, reason-wise, because a lot of those things that they want to pull out of the platform, or a lot of the things that they want to inject into it, aren't actually libertarians. It's not libertarian ideal. It's not a libertarian position. It's not small government or no government. They literally want to create situations where the government continues to come in and enforce moralities that they've inappropriately created, through legislation. Yeah. Some of those things they're not going to, read the Libertarian Party platform. Read it. That is ground truth. It is what the Libertarian Party of Idaho stands by when we work with our candidates to get them elected. It's an agreement to abide by the Libertarian Party platform in order to receive an endorsement from the Libertarian Party of Idaho, at least for the most part. Everybody's got their own little quirks. Nobody agrees 100% with everything. But read the party platform, because that's going to tell you what we actually believe. Libertarians are qualified. The Greens are not. Reason why is because the Green Party never put in the effort, I shouldn't say never put in the effort. They did at one time. They tried to get party ballot access in the state of Idaho. They never met the number of signatures required. They never met the means to make it happen, whereas the Libertarian Party did on several occasions and has continued to maintain it since it's become a recognized party in the state of Idaho. That's one of the ironic things is the Green Party actually has more support in the state of Idaho than the Constitutionalist Party does. Constitutionalist Party grew up out of the Tea Party, but, you know, Tea Party was actually able to create the Constitutionalist Party in the state. Green Party was never able to organize the support necessary to get ballot access to be certified in the state of Idaho. It's just the way it is. I don't know why people who believe in the Green Party platform can't get together long enough to get party ballot access, but that is the way it is. We're working on that issue. Hopefully some people come in and they'll be interested in making it happen for the Green Party. Hey, dude, I'm assuming you actually meant Kynes on that one. Libertarians hate Kynes. They hate Kynes. Kynes is evil. He's satanic. He is everything the paleocons and the neoliberals love and thrive on. Central Planning Committee, jeez. Oof. Midnight on a government-owned park in order to bring about the ultimate destruction of a government-funded war machine. Sacrificing kittens to Hayek, in a government park in order to end the government war machine were possible. I imagine they would. Most of them I know prefer a little bit more direct action. Okay. Yeah, a more knowledgeable populace is a good thing. Find out about other political actions, parties that fit with your own ideas. That's one of those things. Jason, I love the work you do with the Democratic Party as a committee chairman here in the state of Idaho for the DNC. Great work. You put in the effort. You let people know be aware, not only just the Democratic platform, but what the Republican Party platform is supposed to be. You've let people be aware of my agenda. You've shared some of my stuff over the years. Really appreciate that. But yeah, absolutely. And that's part of where the cooperation comes from, especially when you start introducing third parties. An awful lot of people like to say, that partisanship, is dead. Well, no, it's not. As a libertarian, admittedly as a left libertarian, as a peace activist, I've worked with several organizations in the Valley that I don't agree with, on other fundamental principles. Answer Coalition here in the state of Idaho has been a very active peace movement organization. They've continued to hold anti-war rallies on a regular basis over the last 6 years. I participated in a number of them. But the Answer Coalition, the Party of Socialization and Liberation, it has some philosophical differences that I'm fundamentally opposed to. But we have a common purpose: to bring our troops home. There are other things, other organizations, the right of collective bargaining. That's a very libertarian position. There's organizations like the Democratic Socialists of America and Southwest chapter that have helped with organizations like Boise Renters United, which is a fledgling renters union. Freedom of association, collective bargaining rights, as tenants, in order to negotiate with landlords that are profiteering excessively. And yes, landlords in the state of Idaho have significantly more control and more profit than they enjoy in just about any other state. Just is, folks. However, that's a freedom of association thing. Tenants are free to associate and collectively bargain, in order to negotiate. Now, true, they don't have quite the leverage that they wish they did, simply because the market is definitely a seller's market right now in the Valley, especially with the new bonus that's being promoted by City Hall with their urban renewal districts. They got a housing bonus, and the developers can come in and actually develop the property and get a bonus and several tax advantages as long as they make certain bare minimum concessions to affordable housing. But yeah, find out what the other organizations are in the Valley are. Take a look at where there's intersectionality, where you have a common purpose. Republicans are always talking about reducing taxes. The Democrats want to see the grocery tax repealed in a bad way, because that's going to help the poorest of Idahoans. If you're not paying that 6 cents on the dollar for every grocery bill every time you go to the grocery, you don't have to claw that back at the end of the year. Extra, let's see, if you spend an average $200 in groceries a month per person, that's $12 a piece, 3 years or 12 months. That's close to about $250 that you got to claw back per person in the household over the next year. Can go a long ways, in the month, rather than collecting it as some sort of bonus at the end of the year. And there's several organizations that want to see that succeed. Libertarian Party wants to see it succeed. Democratic Socialists of America want to see it succeed. Even the Party of Socialization and Liberation want to see it succeed. Why? Because repealing of the grocery tax benefits all Idahoans, and especially the poor. It's tax they're not paying. Reduction in taxes, help the poor. It's a win-win for everybody, man. Yet somehow, 10 years of listening to them tell us about how they're going to repeal the grocery tax, and it still hasn't happened. You got to wonder. It really does. So look at those organizations. We got an awful lot of organizations. We have the same goals in the end. It's just a question of how we get there. Some organizations want some ways, and some organizations want another way. The idea is to get to the desired end state in a principled and ethical manner. And we can make that happen. We really can. So, Idaho National Guard. This comes back to bring our troops home. BringOurTroopsHome.us. Big fan of the stuff Dan McKnight has been doing over the last 2 years. He's done amazing work. It's been incredible. He's expanded it from a small organization here in Boise, Meridian in the Treasure Valley, to a national organization. We now have chapters of Bring Our Troops Home in nearly every state of the union. They're actively advocating and educating in legislatures around the United States for a concept called Defend the Guard. Okay, why this is important is because the Idaho National Guard is currently scheduled for Kuwait rotation. Yes, the Idaho National Guard will be going to Kuwait to support operations in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. And there's a good chance, because of our aviation wing, that we will actually have pilots flying in country in a number of those situations, here before the next election. 2 years from now to the next election, 2 years. In 18 months, Idaho National Guard will be sitting in Kuwait with Idaho pilots flying Chinooks into hazardous zones. Defend the Guard. That means our people stay home unless we have a constitutionally declared war, act of war, declaration of war, not just military action. We got a standing army for that, folks. We got a standing army. If we reach a point where the conflict is so big that you need to bring in National Guard troops who volunteered to defend their state, the war gets so big they need to go over there. That war needs to be constitutionally declared. It needs to be debated in Congress, and it needs to be declared as an official constitutional war. Idaho National Guard, 18 months. You're going to see them pick up, move out. It's your sons and daughters, folks. Your sons and daughters going off to spend 12 to 18 months in Kuwait because somebody can't manage their wars. Yeah. Jason, money out of politics, especially local politics. Oh, geez, how much money was spent in the McLean Beater runoff, right? How much money was spent trying to decide which Democrat was going to be mayor of Boise during the pandemic? I know it was a lot. The reason why is because after the city election, after the runoff election, when Democratic legislative candidates started going around asking for money to help their campaigns against the Republican opponents, those dimes were scarce. They were pretty hard to come by, because everybody had already spent their wad on McLean or Beater. And what'd you get for that, by the way, folks? Believe it or not, you still got backdoor deals going on with developers in City Hall, even with that switch. Still got it going on. Beater's still a member of the CCDC board. Back deals are still happening, man. Anyway, smoky cigar filled rooms. Well, you got a woman in that smoky cigar filled room right now. Yeah. And she's smoking the cigars and drinking the whiskey with him. Yeah. Taking money out of politics would allow those that aren't millionaires and funding certain parties out of their pocketbooks the ability to run a good campaign for office. Yeah, absolutely. If we didn't have the PACs backing, and a lot of these, like the PACs for the DNC, the PACs for the Republican, they're not PACs supporting a cause. They're not PACs supporting an agenda. These are PACs specifically created to support the party. The party. How many Republican PACs in the state of Idaho? How many Democrat PACs in the state of Idaho? These aren't organizations that support causes. They support the party and only the party. I mean, you got the Butch Otter Pack of all things. I mean, seriously. I mean, the guy created a pack named after himself, specifically to assist, his party candidates to continue to win in elections year after year. Hey, sunshine laws, folks. Look them up. Everybody's got to file the paperwork. It's one of the nice things. I ran my entire campaign, last year on less than $5,000. Actually, it came in close to about $1,200. If I were to be honest about it, $1,200. I paid roughly a dime per vote that I got. Yeah, something like that. Came in under 5,000. So technically, I don't have to report it to the FEC because I didn't meet the $5,000 threshold for FEC reporting. Yay me! I am not in violation of that. Woo-hoo! It's a good thing because I couldn't afford a bookkeeper. Of course, if I'd made $5,000 in donation support from PACs and other organizations, maybe I could have afforded a bookkeeper to make sure that all of those entries were made on time, right? But yeah, definitely getting the money out of the politics. Corporations are not people, folks. They are not. A corporation should not be allowed unlimited spending in order to support a candidate. That's just perpetuating the cronyism that currently exists in the United States political scenery with its duopoly party system. Idaho National Guard. For some reason, we still continue to see City Hall pushing to get that F-35 mission here out at Gown Field. Keep resisting that, folks. Keep resisting that. That doesn't actually bring the money into Boise that everybody thinks it does. That said, it would be a very nice bullet for a Air National Guard wing commander out at Gown Field for his resume for promotion to general. So he can get a nice little job as a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. Seriously, National Guard, I love you. Commander of the Air National Guard out there, Gown Field, I love you. I respect you. But seriously, the F-35 is not in the best interest of the Treasure Valley. It's only in the best interest of you. Do the right thing. What else we got? Oh, yeah. Proud Boys were in town yesterday. Yes, they were. Proud Boys were in town. Went down, hung out, did a little bit of time down at front of the Capitol building yesterday. So for those of you who didn't know this, there is a rally every Saturday clear up until January 21st is actually scheduled, up until the Saturday prior to the inauguration on the 21st of January, for all of the Trump supporters to go downtown on the Capitol steps and show mutual support in their faith that the one true emperor of the United States will succeed against the enemy's domestic and retain his position as 45 on that fateful day. Yes. You want to go down, take a look. I love you guys. I do. Not a big fan of your boss. Not a big fan of DJT. It's all right. I'm not a fan of JB either. We definitely could have done significantly better than Joe Biden as the replacement for 45. God, there are so many better options. So many better options. Which crazy old man won? Yeah. Crazy old man won. Which one was that? Yes, they're both crazy. They're both old. Yeah. We could have done better in so many ways. Let's plan to do better in 4 years, okay, folks? Let's plan to do better in 4 years. We need to stop reaching out for the lowest common denominator for political leadership in the United States. We can do better. We had better. The Democrats put up several much better candidates than Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. The Republicans 4 years ago put up much better candidates than DJT. Much better. Did they have the name recognition? No. Some of them a little young? Yeah. But dude, they were still head and shoulders above him. Head and shoulders above him. And you went with name recognition. That hurt, didn't it? That hurt a lot. Do better. Work on your friends. Get them involved in your community. That's what we really want, right? We want people who are involved in their community. All politics are local. It's bottom up. Start from the bottom. Those people that we send to Washington, D.C. should be working on giving us the power back to our cities, back to our states, so that we can make our own decisions on what's best for us, on what's best for our communities, what's best for the way we want to live and educate our children and cooperate with our neighbors, right? We love cooperating with our neighbors, right? We need a leaf blower, go next door to Mark's. Get a leaf blower. Just be sure to return it, right? Return it in as good a shape as you borrowed it. Need a cup of sugar? And you're borrowing the cup of sugar, not to pour it into your neighbor's gas tank. And you're borrowing it to bake a cake, not fill the gas tank. You don't sabotage your neighbor, right? You love your neighbor. We cooperate. Common purpose, a better world for our children. That all starts local, folks. So, we're in an hour here. I love you guys. So remember, I'm a ray of fucking sunshine. Family, friends, community. As long as you got those three, you can make anything happen, folks. Love you. See you next time. Have a great day.